And Brandon Wolf, I want to play an excerpt from an incredible interview that NBC's Morgan Chesky did with a survivor, a man who was inside Club Q during the attack.
When you crawled out of that dressing room, Joshua, what did you see?
I saw bodies on the floor. Blood, shattered glass, broken cups. People covered up in white sheets. People trying to be resuscitated and or worked on. I went outside and there was more bodies, more sheets. People standing around crying, looking for their loved ones. It was very traumatic.
Brandon, what can people do? What can the community do itself, national organizations, to help survivors and to try to prevent this? What do you need from government?
My heart absolutely breaks for that man because I've been there before. I know what it feels like. I know what it looks like. I know the sounds. I know the smells. And that's something he's going to unfortunately carry with him, not just for days or weeks, but for the rest of his life. You know, the first thing people can do is to wrap others with love. The survivors, that community, they're going to need all of us, not just tomorrow, not just next week, but even after the cameras leave and people go about their daily lives, this community is going to need us, and they're going to have us, by the way. You can rely on me, the Orlando community, the Pulse-affected community. We're here for you all the way. And the other thing that we need to do is to provide support and resources, as you said, on a governmental level. One of the things that we had in the immediate aftermath of Pulse was access to mental health resources for survivors, for first responders, for family members. Unfortunately, the funding for that dried up in the first 2 to 3 years. And when we put it back to the state government to try to fund those mental health resources, Governor Ron DeSantis vetoed those funds 2 years in a row. So we really need the government to step in and provide the mental health resources that are necessary to, of course, support law enforcement as they conduct their investigation, and to make sure that those mental health resources and other resources available are there for the long haul, not just a year or two, but this is a community that's going to need them for a while. I know that funds have been set up. I would encourage people. There are a couple of GoFundMes that have been verified by the GoFundMe organization. I would look for those. And of course, again, wrap your arms around these people, offer them a shoulder to cry on. They're going to need us.
And Brandon, you know, at least in Colorado, we should point out that the governor is outwardly gay and will certainly be more sympathetic to this, much more engaged than Ron DeSantis. But that doesn't speak to the larger issue. Just how difficult is it for you? Now, it's 6 years since surviving the Pulse nightclub shooting. How do you still experience it?
It's so hard, Andrea. Yesterday, I woke up heartbroken for the people I know will have Thanksgiving dinner tables with an empty seat, heartbroken for the people who will have fireplaces with a missing stocking, heartbroken for those who, like me, had to call their friends' parents and tell them that their children were not coming home. And today I woke up furious. I am so angry that for years we've been pummeled with this garbage from the right wing. They insist that the greatest threats our children face today are a teacher with they, them pronouns, or a drag queen reading Redfish, Bluefish at the local library. They have blanketed the airwaves with this anti-LGBTQ misinformation, even as armed protesters have stood outside pride festivals in places like Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, or, you know, protested outside drag brunches in little corners of this country. And now those same right-wing actors are feigning ignorance as there are 5 bodies on the floor and dozens injured in Colorado Springs, saying that we had no idea that this might be the eventual outcome. I am so angry that our community has to continue to fight and scratch and claw for people to treat us with a basic level of humanity. We just want to live, and we need for others to get out of the way. Stop dehumanizing us. Stop treating us with disdain. Stop treating us as less than. Treat us as your neighbors, your family members, your friends. We deserve at least that.
At least that. That's such an important message. Brandon Wolf, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us today.